Hello everyone, welcome back to Highbrow Honey, especially this here episode of the Beesness. We'll go ahead and get started as we've got some pretty fascinating highlights to catch up on from the week of May 12th through the 18th. So without further ado, here we go. First up, a new Avedon photo exhibition at the Smithsonian opened to a lot of credit for how it captured not only Hollywood's elite, but other subjects beyond. The exhibition is titled Reframing Conversations, Photographs by Richard Avedon, 1946 through 1965, and will be on display until November. The show of photography features portraits of celebrities who defined the second half of the 20th century. However, the Smithsonian wants to remind visitors to the exhibition that Avedon also documented the civil rights movement as well as other social justice causes, using his work oftentimes to raise questions about race, sexuality, and power. Some inclusions have already been announced, and these are the likes of Hitchcock, civil rights leader Julian Bond, Marian Anderson, the first black woman to sing on the Met Opera stage, Ringo Starr, Mae West, Oppenheimer, Judy Garland, Marilyn Monroe, and Arthur Miller, future President JFK and Jackie O, the Everly Brothers, who I can't say I'm familiar with, and he's also the photographer behind the infamous 1952 photo of Charlie Chaplin mimicking a vampire's face using his index fingers as horns. Says curator Shannon Thomas Parrish, quote, "We want visitors to look at these photographs and think about how they make choices about what music they listen to, who they vote for, and what they read. Because by making those decisions, we shape American culture one person at a time," end quote. Last week also saw a frenzy of responses to King Charles's newly unveiled official portrait. It was officially unveiled Tuesday at Buckingham Palace, and Jonathan Yeo, a UK-based artist, painted it over the course of 3 years. Yeo has painted other high-profile subjects throughout his career, including former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, actor Nicole Kidman, and education activist Malala Yousafzai. Statements made on the artist's website in regards to the vivid red background suggest that Yeo believes that this color brings a contemporary jolt to the painting. In fact, he says, quote, "The vivid color of the glazes in the background echo the uniform's bright red tunic, not only resonating with the royal heritage found in many historical portraits, but also injecting that contemporary jolt into the genre with its uniformly powerful hue." The color was also chosen in part to minimize the visual distraction of the color of Charles's uniform and allow one to look more specifically at his face. The uniform itself is that of the Welsh Guards, of which he was made regimental colonel in 1975, according to the palace. ABC notes that the butterfly located above Charles's shoulder in the painting is described as symbolic of not only the king's transformation to being a monarch, but also his passion for environmental causes. The painting will be on display for 1 month beginning May 16th at the Philip Mould Gallery in London, and will then go on to hang in Drapers' Hall, a historic building in London that was originally owned by King Henry VIII. And in extremely related note/headline, this portrait was commissioned to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Charles's membership in the Drapers' Company, but it also coincides with a new royal portrait exhibition, specifically of British royalty in the last 100 years. Reuters says Royal Portraits, A Century of Photography, will open at the King's Gallery in Buckingham Palace, and that it will feature over 150 photographic prints, proofs, and documents from the royal collection as well as the royal archives, some of which have never been released or seen before in the public. Everything from a colorful 1985 Andy Warhol depiction of Queen Elizabeth II to pictures by Cecil Beaton of her sister, Princess Margaret. Additionally, the historic Parisian Atelier, once home to Modigliani and Gauguin, has earned its heritage status. Atelier 11, located in an alleyway named Cite Falguière in southern Paris, was constructed in the 1860s. In October of 2023, the nonprofit organization Lair Arts, as well as another nonprofit using the Cite Falguière name, with assistance from the Fondation du Patrimoine, launched a campaign to fundraise for repairs. In November of 2023, this request was granted by an agency of the Regional Council, and at a May 15th ceremony, the Atelier will officially be unveiling the heritage designation. The announcement of this designation is significant for two reasons. First, because it is bestowed on sites with significant architectural and/or historical value, they receive a supplementary financial grant towards the restoration of the building. It additionally coincides with Lair Arts' efforts to expand its fundraising and to reach international audiences. Once reopened in 2025, the Atelier will work with other cultural institutions, hopefully, as well as private foundations worldwide, to send artists to France to work in the studio and carry on its legacy. The artist Leonora Carrington has also set a new personal record at Sotheby's of $28.5 million US. The artist herself lived 1917 to 2011, and the artwork in question was a 1945 tempera by the name of Les Distractions de Dagobert. It was considered to be the prize jewel of Sotheby's Modern Art Evening Sale, with an estimated value of between 12 to 18 million. The piece sparked a fierce in-person and proxy by phone bidding war, but eventually went to an Argentinian developer and businessman by the name of Eduardo F. Constantini, the founder of the Museum of Latin American Art in Buenos Aires. The win was especially satisfying for Constantini, as he was outbid back in 1995 at Sotheby's for the same work. Back then, the bidder won it for $475,500, which in today's money is about $999,000. So Constantini said he was not willing to let this piece go a second time. This $28.5 million sale obliterated the artist's previous auction record of $3.3 million, established only 2 years ago, also at Sotheby's. The Art News article announcing this event noted that prices for female surrealists especially have been steadily rising in the last years, with fresh records being set for Frida Kahlo, Leonore Fini, and others. Despite a major hacking earlier in the day on Tuesday, Christie's managed to sell over $100 million worth of contemporary art at its auction last week, though it changed the lineup. It was an impressive feat Tuesday night that, with the website still crippled from cyber attacks, Christie's managed to hold 2 back-to-back auctions, bringing in such an incredible sales rate, and doing so with new records set and a very packed house. Though they received lots of praise for pulling this off, they also received a lot of criticism about the removal of one specific lot, that from recently departed collector Rosa de la Cruz, which included a Martin Kippenberger painting estimated at $2 to $3 million. The removal of this specific painting was a surprise because Christie's had guaranteed all 26 of the items in the De La Cruz sale. In any case, many were distracted from this mystery by the new artist records that were set that night for those such as Martin Wong, Ana Mendieta, Felix Gonzalez Torres, and more. The installation of new visual portals has allowed New Yorkers and Dubliners to interact in real time. The two installations, one in Dublin, of course, and the other in Manhattan's Flatiron district, use large circular screens and an outward-facing camera to allow people in each city to interact in real time. Multiple reporters noted the interactions included gestures such as blowing kisses, flexing biceps, doing cartwheels, enticing each other into dance-offs. The Smithsonian Magazine cites the Irish Times, who reported, quote, "It took at least a half hour before a guy in a flannel top on the New York side gave the middle finger to the Dubliners, who repeated the gesture back at him enthusiastically," end quote. The newly installed and so-called public technology sculptures are a result of the Flatiron Nomad Partnership, which presented the installation in collaboration with the Simmons Foundation and the New York City Department of Transportation Art Program. They are also the latest in a series by artist Benedictus Gillis. An update that this episode's delay has allowed me to provide: according to Forbes, on May 19th, the portals reopened after an almost week-long closure, which was initiated by onlookers flashing the camera and holding inappropriate pictures up to the portal, in addition to making other insane gestures and leading the Dublin City Council to temporarily close it. In a particularly heartwarming story, a New York City seamstress, age 95, was reunited with a long-lost garment district statue of herself just last week. Back in 1984, Maria Paulson's boss at the St. Laurie firm decided he wanted to have an artwork that depicted a worker at the building on East 20th Street near Broadway, right in the lobby. So he asked Paulson to pose for the statue because she was one of the best seamstresses and also known as one of the most friendly. Her likeness sat proudly for almost 4 decades in the lobby of that building until 2018, when the firm moved and the antique company took it over. The life-size plaster likeness was discovered by her granddaughter, who waged an entire online research campaign to find the artwork, which was eventually discovered in a dusty warehouse in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Paulson now lives in Flushing, Queens, and worked as a seamstress for those 4 years in Rochester and 45 years in the Big Apple after. Her granddaughter says, quote, "She represents that generation of hardworking immigrants that came to this country and really appreciated the country they live in. It tells the story of the American dream," end quote. LEGO has also introduced 2 new medieval sets in the last week, the Notre Dame de Paris and the Mona Lisa. In both of the individual builds designers' quotes, they emphasize the desire to connect the builders with educational, technical, and historical knowledge. For example, the designer behind the Notre Dame set emphasizes the way in which the LEGO fans will be able to retrace the architectural journey and the evolution of the landmark during its construction and afterwards by recreating it through the LEGO set. Finally, we heard last week that Arizona and 10 native communities within it are to get $2.5 million worth of federal funding for historic site preservation. 10 tribes are set to receive $1.3 million, with the state receiving the $1.2 million rest in historic preservation funds administered by the National Park Service. Some of the communities will include the Colorado River Indian tribes of the Colorado River Indian Reservation, the Gila River Indian Community, the Hopi Tribe of Arizona, the Hualapai and Navajo Nations, the Salt River Pima Maricopa Indian Community, and the White Mountain Apache Tribe. Said Senator Mark Kelly in a press release on Tuesday, quote, Preserving our history is crucial as it serves as a testament to our state's rich heritage. The investment not only honors our past, but also ensures that future generations can continue to learn from and cherish Arizona's diverse traditions and history, end quote. All right, honeys, that's all I've got for you regards to that week. I am catching up right now on ATPPO3, the Land Art Edition. I hope to have that out Wednesday. That's the goal. So keep your ears peeled and your eyes peeled for the next episodes to come. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. This podcast was created, produced, written, posted, edited, and fact-checked by Master's graduate Celia Bugno. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on all of your favorite streaming platforms as well as your social medias.